you a lover of the paranormal?
Do you find yourself asking,
is it real?
Well, listen in every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern.
where we talk about all your favorite paranormal shows,
YouTube channels,
haunted locations, and much, much more.
Join us on For the Booze as we discuss the history and the mystery behind it all.
Available everywhere podcasts are found.
Welcome, everyone, to Life Beyond 6 Feet. I'm Damien from RKB Paranormal, and this week I'm very excited about our show. This week I have the host of Our Haunted Lives, the #1 hit show on Paraflixx, David Taylor, Kristi Grissom. Guys and gals, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Damon.
So, for those that don't know, I was on with Josh on Our Haunted Lives when it was just a podcast about almost 2 years ago now, the very first podcast we did. And more or less, you guys kind of put us down this road and doing podcasts and eventually starting my own. And since your guys' interview with us, we've done, 12, 15 interviews since then. And it kind of got my gears turning. I was like, man, I'd really kind of like to do that. So you guys kind of put me down this path. I'm actually starting my own podcast. And after a whole minute, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to jump right in and just get this thing started. And I've been wanting to get you guys on, and I know you guys stay super busy, so I'm glad we finally got it lined up. So, how are you guys doing?
I'm
hanging in there.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's a really good thing for Kristi and myself, and she'll probably back me up on this. We've been going hard for about 2 years, so we just got done with Mass Paracon last weekend. We were up in Concord, Massachusetts, with Sam Bellatrusis. He puts it on, and that was really kind of the last thing for us this year. Now we're doing this, but this is okay,
right?
And just recording and everything like that. So it's a much needed break. And Kristi, go ahead. So I think you kind of feel the same way I do.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You caught me. I can't believe this. You actually caught me one time. I'm expecting an important text. So my phone buzzed and I'm looking down and I don't have my old lady glasses on. So I'm squinting to see if it's my daughter, and I didn't fucking hear what you said.
Oh,
not a word. I'm just going to be honest. I heard Mass Paracon and break. So can I surmise?
You can do that, Kristi. How are you? I just said that we were basically like kind of taking a break until the beginning of the year.
Oh my gosh. We have been going like, I mean, nonstop.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's that difficult, because when you're doing something that you love, it's not work. It's not I can get a little bitchy. You can ask everybody, but you know what? He
So
can too.
So can I.
Yeah. So can he. So, we're taking a much needed break, but we are happy to come on the show with you today. So, so we broke our break for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I know you guys stay super busy, and it seems like every time I log on to Facebook, one of you guys are posting about something you're getting ready to do, or you're on a plane going somewhere. So I appreciate you guys taking a few minutes out of your break to join my show today.
Yeah, no problem.
So like I said, I've known you guys for a couple years now, so I know a little bit about you guys, but I'm going to kind of let you guys kind of talk about your experiences, kind of what has led you down this path. So Kristi, ladies first, kind of what got you kind of into the paranormal?
The paranormal got into me. I was 5, 6-ish the first time I saw a spirit, and I always knew I was different. Just didn't know exactly what it was. Didn't understand what was happening to me or why I would see things or hear things that other people didn't.
Right.
And growing up in a Baptist home, that's not something you really discussed. My dad was a deacon in the church, so and very, very old school. So I kind of ignored it and really didn't pay any attention to it, tried to live my life. And then when I got older and started watching some of the stuff, like in my late 20s, early 30s, I'm a late bloomer in this, honestly. But I was like, holy shit, this makes sense. I was watching, I think it was A Haunting or something like that. It was one of the older shows that's been on forever. And I'm like, I do that. I do that. Oh, is that what it's called? It was like an explosion of relief and of god awful fear at the same time.
Right.
Because at that time I was a single mother. I'm like, who the hell do I call and ask about this? I don't know who to call and ask
Right.
about this, but I could put my finger on it. And that's kind of after that big eureka moment. That's all she wrote. Never stopped.
So it was kind of always there, but you never really dove into it until like the show started coming out.
Right.
Hey,
because I didn't know what it was.
Right. Everybody gets their start differently. So what's some things you kind of experienced that kind of made you question, what the hell is this and what's going on with me?
I would always have prophetic dreams. I would have spirits come to me in dreams. That's more common for me than actually seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
I get stuff put in my mind's eye. Just today, Jeff got up out of the recliner, and I'm like, I see grilled cheese in my head. I said, make me one. I said, make me one. And he's like, what? I said, the grilled cheese you're about to make. He's like, how the fuck do you do that?
Kristi, that wasn't your mind's eye. That was your stomach talking.
That was my stomach.
Right.
I've got a third eye in my stomach. Oh, wait, that's called a belly button. No, but just awesome. Things have come to me. And a lot of times I would discard it as, I'm just being stupid. I'm being silly. I'm, or not say anything at all. But I'm learning that when I do say something, I'm pretty freaking on. And so maybe I shouldn't be so apprehensive. So, but it's a hard thing to go out there and say, hey, I'm this, I'm that, because then you got to live up to it.
Right.
So for forever, I've always just said I'm intuitive, and that's it.
Right.
And leave it at that.
And it's kind of worked out in your favor that you finally kind of decided to dive into the thing because you're, look at you now. So.
Right. Right.
All right. So David, what about you? What's some stuff that you kind of experienced throughout life that kind of led you down this path to where you are now?
Yeah, it started early for me also. Probably the similar age, maybe a little bit earlier than Kristi. Around our house, family house, I would see my great grandmother.
Okay.
And I didn't tell anybody, but one day my grandmother and I were looking at pictures, and she's like, "This is your great grandmother," and I called her Babcia. That's Polish, and for grandma or whatever. And my grandmother's like, you couldn't have seen her. She's passed on. She's not with us anymore. I go, no, she's around all the time. And so my grandmother just kind of smiled, because my grandmother was always supportive of things, of paranormal things. Things always happened to her. It wasn't called paranormal back then. It was just called ghosts or
spiritualism.
Yeah, whatever. And so then things started to develop with me of where I would see people's auras around them when I was at a young age, and I would call them people's rainbows. And then I just really started to kind of phase out of it. I wasn't really seeing anything after probably the age of 8 or 9, but that's, I'm getting into Star Wars and going outside and playing, and getting into baseball and whatever else. And through high school and college, I had no interest in it whatsoever, not anything whatsoever, didn't even think about it. And so then dabbled a little bit in Phoenix with that. I was kind of into it, but that's when Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters was on, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, because I have always been interested in it. And so then we moved from Phoenix up to Seattle, Washington, and I got to go around. There's one thing where the Ghost Adventures went and investigated Fort Stevens and Kells, and went to the Peter Irondale. Sorry. So I've been to Fort Stevens. I've been to the Irondale. I've been to Kells. Then I moved to Portland. I've got to really kind of investigate the Shanghai tunnels a couple times. There's some really good ghost trails and things like that in Oregon. It's really clicky there. So I was like, it's just not going to work with these people.
Right.
It's called the Northwest Freeze. It's really hard to meet people up there. They're very closed off.
Mm-hmm.
So then came down here and really started to delve into it. And of course, it was during the pandemic and everybody was looking for something to do, man.
Right.
Couldn't do anything, and so really dove into it with my former partner. Happenstance through Facebook, met Kristi, and it just really took off from there. And I have to say, the one show that we did with you is, even though we haven't podcasted in about 2 years, it is still our most downloaded show. And the reason is because of you guys. And it was the first show. It was the first show that Kristi and I did together. So,
wow.
So if anything tells me that I made the right choice, not just spiritually and up here, it's also the numbers and the analytics. So.
Right. Oh, wow.
Scientifically proven.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's been a great journey. It's been a really, really, really amazing journey. I mean, Kristi has taught me as much as hopefully I've taught her more on the spiritual side, or the Wiccan side, and with her vampirism and everything like that.
Right.
And I think myself with the technical side of stuff, and that's why we mesh so well together. Of just, we're complete absolute opposites. This past weekend, like I said, we were at Mass Paracon. I just put on music, just random stuff, and she's like, God damn it, can you just get rid of this freaking music? So we start putting on Dio, and she's like, finally.
I mean, who doesn't like Ronnie James Dio?
Everybody does.
Rainbow in the dark.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
So but it's a thing that meshes really well between the both of us. And I think I don't know who was working for us, but I think there was something meant to be of us to meet each other and work together. And it's really worked out well. So yeah, that's my journey. I mean, it's just weird how it happens, and it's weird how we get to go to these places, together and experience the stuff. And it's just, just crazy. So.
Well, y'all are definitely a good team, and I definitely think y'all work well together. And I think the common interest I've noticed with people that I know in the field and people that I've interviewed, we all kind of got the same one common interest, that we all had these experiences at a young age.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just something that said, oh, here I am 25, let me go be a ghost hunter.
Right.
I think everybody I've talked to, they had stuff they experienced when they were a kid, and it just kind of, either one, they just kind of blew it off, or two, they kind of just chased after it from a kid, and that's been a common interest, I think, with everybody I know in this field so far.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I got a hold of a Ouija board, I was sophomore, junior in high school. So there were little times that I would delve back into stuff, and I had a really horrible experience with the Ouija board. And I'm really surprised that I work with them again because of that.
Right.
And even in college, we would break into old houses out in the middle of the farm. Growing up in Texas, you got all these old houses out in the cotton fields, and we'd go out there. I'm not going to say everything we were doing, but we were out there college partying, and in those old houses, and I would be the only one that would get down in the basement with no flashlight, with no anything. And, I just loved it. It was a thrill, the adrenaline rush.
And it's funny you mentioned Ouija boards. I've had two crazy experiences with that. One was with Keith, who our team's named after, and we were messing with him as teenagers. So I don't know if it was subconsciously I was moving it or he was moving it just to fuck with me, but it came across as we was actually interacting with somebody. And of course, being like 14, 15 years old, it kind of freaked us out a little bit. So I didn't really ever mess with one again until Thomas House Hotel on a ghost hunt weekend.
Oh, love Thomas
Nice.
House. I work there.
Yeah.
See, okay, I want to correct something though. There's one misconception about Ouija boards. People think that they don't move it. You absolutely fucking do move it. It is your movement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why people think that it's the spirit. yes, the spirit is causing it to move, but it is your muscles in your hand
Mhm.
that's reacting to that.
Right.
So when people say, "Oh, you're pushing it, well, subconsciously you might be pushing it, but it's got to move through muscles of somehow. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to put your hands on it. The planchette can move by
Yeah,
itself.
Right.
exactly.
Right.
It's a great
So,
point, Kristi. It's a great point.
yeah,
And
it's one of those misconceptions that I have to throw out there. So
And
sorry.
speaking of ghost hunt weekends, how did you kind of get involved with those guys?
Oh, I started, my son and I went to St. Albans, I was looking for something to do and I saw the ghost hunt, and I'd been working with a paranormal group, Gaston County Paranormal.
Mhm.
And I was like, I knew who the Wraith Chasers were. I'd always watched Tennessee Wraith Chasers.
Right.
And I'm like, that's only 2.5 hours away. I'm like,
I could do it.
and they're hot. I'm like, I'm going to this, and of course I take my teenage son with me, but we get up there and I met them and met Chad because Chad was hosting it.
Mhm.
They were there with him. And um, we just hit it off. I ended up having a lot of things happen down in the boiler room
Mhm.
that Mike was like, whoa,
Yeah.
I guess it was like type of a medium type thing that happened. And the next day they're calling up and say, hey, we got a private event at the Thomas house. You want to come? I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Right on.
So, after that, it was just, I was at least two times a month for about a year. I
Right.
was going with them, and finally they're like, you've got to be crew.
Right.
So I was
I,
like, yes.
I have a feeling I probably met you that night. We was at the Thomas house because it was one of their events, and if you weren't there, it was just a odd
If I was
coincidence.
there, you would have known.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it was 2 years ago, and so I mean, I may have, I may not. I don't remember.
Right.
But,
Yeah, because it's been right around 2 years that I've been going there. So I might have been a little bit more quiet because I was the new girl.
right.
But if it was here recently, no, there's
Right.
there's no shutting down this, no filter.
Right.
You're the quiet.
And so David touched on kind of how you guys met kind of over Facebook, just by chance. So how did the idea of a podcast come up for you guys?
Well,
We already had one.
yeah, I had one, and we were my former partner and I were doing it, and there's just some riffs of how it needed to be done. And also with the YouTube thing. And he just kind of bailed out one day. He was sick. He was legitimately sick. And I asked Kristi, I said, hey, you want to come on? And I remember doing the show. It was with Channing and Jen. And
Right.
we were talking about urban myths and legends of black-eyed children, Slender Man, Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
And the show just went really, really well. Just went really well. And it was literally the first time Kristi and I just kind of interacted like that.
Right.
And so it was just another medium for us to get OHL out there. And then we just did a few shows, and all of a sudden, I'm getting a call from Texas, and I'm like, who do I know in Texas? I'm not going to answer this. It's probably somebody trying to sell me more insurance on my car.
Right.
I don't need any more. and left the voicemail, and it was Natalie from Paraflixx. And, she was like, we need to have a meeting. We need to talk about your show that's on YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't know what Paraflixx was. Kristi
Right.
didn't know. And so sit down in this Zooming with her, and she's like, yeah, it's going to be a SOD, which is streaming on demand, and VOD, video on demand. And I had to learn all these things because I had no idea about it whatsoever. And Kristi's like, oh my God, what? Because we didn't know what it was at first. And it's
Right.
a great entity. It's just incredible what it's done for us. Just incredible what it's done for everybody,
Right.
and for the paranormal,
Right.
and for music people, and for movie shorts, and for movies, everything. It's
So many different ones.
Yeah, it's really second to none. And so had a great meeting with Natalie, and let her know I wanted to be the Howard Stern for Paraflixx, with the talk show. And, I wanted Kristi to be, my Robin Quivers, but most importantly, I wanted us to be the David Taylor and Kristi Grissom of Paraflixx.
Right.
And so she was impressed by it, and she's like, all right, let's start. And, I always told Kristi when we first met, because she knows everybody in the field. She's friends with everyone. And it was just into the point of where Kristi, you can ask them, you don't have to ask them. That's why we really like the first season or so, we had a lot of grassroots people on, just to really kind of get her name out to see how the show went. And you can eventually see of how we've built up over our 7 seasons of the really named guests that we get is really cool. But the 2 people that really helped us out in the first season were Sam Bellatrusis and Patty Negri.
And Chris and Mike.
Yeah, well, I was going to mention them. They were the season finale. I know, but I back to the point I was trying to make is I always told Kristi, I don't want you to use your contacts for the show. You know what I'm saying?
And of course, I really respected that, because I'm very loyal to the people that are loyal to me, and I really, I'm going to say this on air. I'm going to say it. I despise when people try to use me to get to somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't work that way. I worked hard to meet the people and to know the people that I know now. So sorry, I'm not pulling strings.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying that I never have, because I ended up pulling strings, once we started really doing this, but it's just, it's unprofessional, I think. And David never took advantage of that. And that's another reason why I'm still with him.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
But yeah, no, it just really, really has worked out, and it's turned into this incredible entity that we have of, from being at the WarrenCon, and, going to St. Albans and going here and going to the Josephine Hotel and this place and all these places we've gone in the past 2 years. It's just been a whirlwind. I mean, this year, like, we've taken like 5 major trips this year.
Oh, wow.
That have just been really incredible.
And they all mesh together. It's like, I'll get one memory in my head about something that David did, and I'm like, where were we at when he did that? What were we doing on this one? Or when did we travel to this one? And Mike and Chris had told me, David, that was eventually gonna happen. Everything runs together, and you don't remember what happened. And when people come up to you and say, you remember blah 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 blah, it's like you want to so bad, you really want to, but it's like, no, I don't. Or you lie and say, oh
yeah. I mean, there are certain things that stick out to us, and I know exactly what you're saying. Kristi,
right.
It's just there are certain things that stick out for me. But you're exactly right. I was just like, oh, we're in Boston again. Oh, we're in Salem. Oh, we're in Las Vegas. Oh, we're in Kansas. Oh, we're in Tennessee. Oh, and Tennessee. Damn it, I love Tennessee. Trust me, man. But it's a long ass drive from where I live. So when we went to Old South Pittsburgh, it was just it was really long. But then again, when we did the WarrenCon, I mean, we had to stop over at my brother's house because it's a 12-hour drive, and
that was horrible.
What, the WarrenCon?
No, 12 hours of listening to your music.
Yeah. Well, I did take it in New York City, so.
Okay, you're forgiven.
Thanks. But yeah, no, and it's just great to experience different things with Kristi, like her seeing Niagara Falls when we were up investigating the Hinsdale house. It's certain things that people think that they're not going to see, and then all of a sudden you have this chance. And I think, I don't know, maybe you can back me up on this, Kristi. I have severe OCD, and I like to make itineraries, even though
Yes, I can definitely back him up on that. He has serious OCD, and yes.
But they end up being really cool. You know what I'm saying? So like when we get into Buffalo, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to the Anchor Bar where chicken wings were invented, right? And we're not going to the satellite ones. We're going to the one right in downtown Buffalo.
Original.
Yeah, the original
Nice.
one.
Nice.
To have wings. And then lo and behold, when we're there, somebody notices who we are, the waitress. She's like, "Oh yeah, I know you guys." And we're like, "What? We're in Buffalo, New York." And it's really
Yeah.
weird when that happens.
Right.
And then we go to Niagara Falls, which is just incredible. And it's an incredible experience to see Kristi by the way she feels things.
Right.
When we're going up to that water and just the power and immense power and energy that Niagara Falls has. And just watching her, and she's just like kind of going, "This is incredible." So
This is
but
overwhelming, actually.
yeah,
It
it really
was
is.
really, I could just feel, it was it's hard to explain sometimes, but it felt like my body was literally on, like, sparking all over, all,
Hmm.
it's just really weird. It's really weird, but there's a lot of energy flowing. I mean,
Yeah.
damn, I don't know how many gallons or tons or whatever of water, but it's a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty good. But
Yeah.
yeah, but then like when we went to Candace for Hotel Josephine in the Lake House. I mean, as soon as we get in, we're going to Joe's Barbecue. Anthony Bourdain, named it one of 13 places you have to eat before you die, and he was not joking, man.
Wow.
Let me tell you, that was like that.
It was good.
I'm not a picky eater. I will eat anything you put in front of me. I just don't eat a whole lot.
Right.
But I mean, I've eaten crickets,
Oh.
earthworms.
Oh.
I mean, cow balls. I've eaten all kinds of stuff, But oh my gosh, we ordered so much stuff, and we sat there, and I just ate and ate and ate and
we were
ate.
so
And
stuffed.
I'm from Texas. We
Right.
got good barbecue in Texas, but let me tell you, this was like,
It was good. It was good.
so
We
good.
got there 11:15. It opened at 11 o'clock, and there was a line around the building already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you're ever in Kansas City, Joe's Barbecue is a place.
Joe's Barbecue.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely worked out for you guys, and to have the number one show on Paraflixx, I think that's awesome, and I just wanted to
Well, it's the
congratulate
number
you
one
guys.
talk show.
Yeah,
Number one
number one
talk
talk show.
show.
Oh,
Yeah,
well.
because there's a
Yes.
lot of there's
Is
a
there-
lot of good shows
A
on
lot
there.
of great
Yeah.
stuff. So
Well, to have the number one anything, is amazing, and I just want to congratulate you guys on your success, and I think it's awesome that you
Thank
guys
you.
have taken off
thanks.
like you have.
thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
throughout this journey, what's some of the craziest places you guys investigated so far? I know.
Hinsdale.
Yeah.
I was fixing to say, I remember David kind of telling me a couple of weird things that happened in Hinsdale, and
Yeah.
I was gonna say that was pretty wild what he told me. So it
Yeah.
Kristi doesn't like to talk about it.
The Warren Paracon, I still haven't talked about what happened there.
That was crazy.
Hinsdale, I've opened up a little bit about it, and if I don't want to talk about something, that it's because I'll talk about anything.
Right.
But I will say that those two things that happened to me, I'll never be the same.
Oh man.
I especially Hinsdale, things happened there that I took advantage of the paranormal, to be honest with you. That's what I felt like. I felt like, I know what's going on. I've been doing it long enough. I've seen, I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot. I was humbled.
Yep.
I was pushed back down, and it was like something there was telling me, you don't know shit.
Oh man.
And we really don't.
Right.
We really don't. I mean, of course, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think there was, that we were on to something, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But we really, I mean, if we only use 20% of our brain, imagine what percentage we actually know about the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, and that place put me in my place.
It
definitely did.
Yeah, it was such, and we're not going to go into what I talked about with you, Damon, and stuff like that.
Right,
That's
right.
personal between us.
Yeah.
But the things that happened there, with Kristi, it started right away. It started as soon as we got there. It started as soon as we made offerings. It started as soon as we got in the house. And she's exactly right. We've been to some of the most freaky places that you can go to and have great investigations and, gotten scared and, I'm a runner, so I run away and she runs towards it. What is it? It's back there. See you later. But and I tell everybody, I'm never going back to that place. I'm never going to go back there ever again.
And I want to.
And that's what's scary, because that means that I have to go back there, and I'm going to have to prepare myself really, really well. And it's not because I'm trying to be protective of Kristi. It's just she needs somebody who understands how she investigates and to be able to pull her out. And then when I pull her out, it's done. There's no discussion about that. And we have an understanding of what we do. And it's not personal. It's not because she's getting things or anything like that. But if I feel that she's gone too deep or something is bringing her in too deep, and it's just time to get her out. And we did that there right before we left. I mean, there was a situation of where she was trying to ground. And I mean, you can tell the story if you want to, Kristi, but she said, I need 20 minutes. And she was out. They have this serene little pond with a bench that you can sit on. It's great. And something
I thought I was going out there to deprogram and to kind of release everything that had transpired over the 24 hours that we were there. And the land had something else in mind for me. And yeah, David had to come pull me. I wasn't going to leave.
Yeah, she was there. So I got her. I got Josh, and I said, it's time to go. It's time to go right now. And Josh's like, I'm having a great time. And I don't even want to delve what happened to him.
Oh, man.
That was crazy. And I'm having my own personal experiences and feeling what's going on there. And we had so much equipment with Josh, from Attic Junkie. He was so nice to sponsor the thing and get us up there. And he had so much equipment that we had to get in. And I had equipment, and Kristi brought a couple things. We just literally, dude, like slammed our suitcases, put them in the truck, and we were gone at like 10:30 to the hotel. And we got to the hotel, and Kristi was just laying down in there, and it was a great little white lie we told to the check-in
front desk,
front desk person. I was like, hey, you know what? My buddy's not feeling too well. I was wondering if we could just get in the room. I know it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're not.
And actually, I wasn't feeling very good.
Yeah,
so
like 3. So it always helps.
When we were outside, the guys went in to go get the room. I'm not a crier. I always say I don't cry. It's just something I don't like to do. But I broke down in the car and just bawled like a baby. And I was like, we've got to get in this hotel. I don't care if I have to tell them, but we're getting in the hotel, because I just needed to sort things out. So it was intense.
Nothing a handshake with $20 can't fix, though, David.
Right. Well, I'm sure if you guys ever go back, I'm sure you're going to have some unfinished business to take care of.
It affected
most definitely. And that's the main reason why I want to go back, because I didn't know when we were going that it was on a ley line. I had never worked on a ley line before. So I was unaware and unprepared, and apparently I pissed off something in the first 10 minutes of me being there.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so I was the enemy the whole entire time.
Yeah.
So not only did I have the ley line messing with me, and then spirits that were calling me the enemy, which we didn't know about till the second day.
Yeah.
So they were just nonstop on me, nonstop. And it just, so if anybody has never worked on a ley line and you have any type of ability, I'm not saying be leery, but you need to learn how to balance yourself, ground yourself very, very well, and be conscious of the ley lines, because it will spike everything. And if you don't understand what's going on with it, it's going to freak you the fuck out. So it may not bother everybody, but people with abilities, I can't say for sure, but I would like to say it's going to affect you differently.
Right. Well, that place definitely sounds intense, and that one's kind of on the books for me from your guys' experiences. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to that place or not. But so what's some other crazy places you guys have been that wasn't that as intense, but you still had a really good investigation?
Well,
Jeez.
one of my favorites, actually, David hasn't been to, is Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I love Bobby Mackey's. That place is awesome. But we had a lot of results at the Battleship, North Carolina.
Yeah, the North Carolina went really well. That was we've well, Kristi, you've been there 4 times. I've been there twice. You've been there what 3 times with Ghost Hunt weekends, and then we did our private investigation there, right?
Right.
So that was a really, really good one. To just have the lay of that whole ship and just by ourselves. We were there with PD Region Paranormal. We kind of collab with them a lot. They're in Southern North Carolina, and we're up here, but we work with them a lot. And it really went really, really, really well.
But it went really well. But okay, I don't think I ever said this to you, David.
Mhm.
Okay, when I did the reading prior to us going, I do do a reading of oracle or tarot cards, whatever I want to do, and it specifically said, we do not need to break up. We do not need to go solo. And it was very adamant. I was getting that very adamantly. Do not go solo. The very first thing we do, everybody just
goes.
And I'm solo in a big boat by myself, walking around with no fear until something happened, and then I'm like, oh shit, where are the guys?
That was a great thing, because I had the experience right by the bunks and the shower right there that lead into the mess hall, of where something kind of rushed at me. It wasn't like evil, but just kind of surprised me. And I'm running down the hall.
Oh, he took off running.
And Pops is in the medical room, and he goes, who dat?
Who dat?
And I see Kristi, and I'm like, it's David, because he thinks, I just go by just really quick. He's like thinking something just ran by him in the hall. And Kristi going, you okay? And so we all kind of walk back there, and we're kind of calmed down. But that's when we had the great EVP of, you're going, all right, I'm coming in showers, boys. Here I come. I'm a girl. I'm coming in showers. And then the EVP, you can hear,
oh wow,
whistling at me,
just a whistle at you. So,
but I've been whistled at every single time that I've gone in there, and it's in that general location where the mess hall is and the bathrooms. Because not only with me being prior military and also being female, I don't normally play those cards, but I do at places like that,
right?
Because it can always make for interesting results.
Absolutely.
I thought St. Albans was a really good one too, Kristi. It was really, I think, our second or third time that we were together as an investigation team. And we were basically the first people that they let back in during the pandemic.
We were the first people.
Yeah, that's it. So and we were there with PD again, but it took a while for the place to warm up again, because it was silent for a year and a half,
right?
And then all of a sudden, the rest of the night, it was just boom,
balls
boom,
to the wall,
boom, boom, boom. And I think I was a bit overwhelmed by the enormity of the place and of what was actually going on.
Because wasn't that at that point in time, it was the biggest place that you'd investigated?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And it was
massive.
Yeah. The feeling, like when I came in, I was just like, oh, it's just another place. And when I left, it was like, okay, enjoy yourself here. Cause it's, if you don't know what you're doing in that place, it's going to be, you're going to end up in the rubber room downstairs. So, and then old Pittsburgh Hospital, we had a great thing. Kristi, Ashley Moreno, and myself had a very intimate thing that went on with passing somebody over there. So I don't have to go into details, but it was very, It was very
intense.
draining for myself and for Kristi and for Ashley, but it was very, very great in a way because Ashley and I were connected. Kristi and my catcher were connected. And it was just a really, really great investigation. So
What was it? I kept saying it's on the ceiling, and the owner of the property had said that I don't care, we don't have creepers here. We don't have so
yeah,
I was like, but no, it's on the ceiling. I kept saying that all night. It's on the ceiling and it's
yeah,
following us. And then after the investigation was over, well, I mean, Ashley and I were chased out. That was scary. That was one and only time that I have ran. But that was
yeah,
creepy. But they were going over the recordings, and when I said, I know you're up there, you're on the ceiling, and it was this demonic
yeah,
just
yeah,
basically saying, that, yeah, you're right. I'm
yeah.
on the ceiling. And it confirmed
Yeah, and
that. It was crazy.
there's things that happen. I think Ashley asked you of because when I start to feel stuff, and I'm not saying I'm anything whatsoever, but when I start feeling things, Damon, I'll start pacing back and forth.
Right.
It seems very weird to people. They're like, "What's going on with this guy? Is he about to freak out?" Well, and stuff like that.
Well,
And
you're a big guy. We don't want you to
yeah,
freak out.
and so walking back and forth, and Ashley kept asking me, "What's going on? What's going on?" And sit down. I go up and I go, "It's just not right. It's not right." And we're on the second floor, right at the nurse's station. There's a couple hallways. One goes to the left, one goes behind us, and one goes up. And I was pointing to that room. And then when you and Mike came back, Kristi, I was like, "Kristi, it's in there right now." And that's when you and Ashley went in there, and I had the experience in the hallway of blocking for you guys, and
Right.
this whole thing, and we were all just drained afterwards. And I get
Oh,
really,
that's right. I was yelling at you.
yeah, well, because I was blocking it
Oh,
at first. It was like
I was trying to protect you. You
yeah,
ended up protecting me,
yeah,
but I was trying to tell you to get the fuck out because I saw what was in there and I
yeah,
knew what was in there, and I didn't know if it was going to attack you
yeah.
because it was trying to come up
Oh,
behind me.
it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it ended up attacking you, but what David did is he took it off of me, so I was able to pass on the lady that was communicating with me.
it was very intense, Damon. And Mike Hatcher and Jason Baker. Jason is a great photographer, and Mike Hatcher is a great executive producer for Paraflixx.
Yes.
But so I went out in the hallway after Kristi was yelling at me, and she wasn't yelling in angst or anything. She was just making sure I was okay. And investigating, never take anything personal when somebody yells at you. It could be something that they're feeling, unless they punch you in the face or they're really you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But I went into the hallway, and Kristi and Ashley are doing their job. And the hallway just got extremely dark, like darker than dark. And Old South Pittsburgh is very dark. And Mike and Jason were there, and they're just like, "What is going on?" And the only way I can explain of what was coming towards me is, if anybody has seen The Shining, I know it's an old movie, is when the elevator doors opened up and all the blood started rushing down that hallway. That's what was coming towards it. And it was just hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. And Kristi and Ashley finally did that. And I just went over to, they have this couch and chairs and everything where you can sit. And I just sat down and I was done. And it's a shame when things like that happen to you, because then the investigation kind of it kind of drags on, because you're like, I'm so tired, and and you still want to be there. Yeah, you're drained.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, but then something else happens of you're in the operating room and you're with the SLS and something's right on your head and you're like, what is going on here?
Right.
So yeah,
And then
but
it kind of perks you back up.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds like you guys have had an incredible journey over these last couple of years. And so what does the future hold for you guys? I know you're kind of taking a break right now, but what's next for Our Haunted Lives?
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, that's, let's see, it's top secret.
Yeah, it's kind of top secret. We've got a lot of good things coming in 2023. We're kind of reorganizing of what we're doing. Even though we were out and about everywhere this year, I think we kind of overextended a little bit, and hence why we needed to take the break.
Right.
We're really going to be centralized kind of towards being on the East Coast this year of, and still branching out and things like that. But I think there's a lot of things going on the East Coast that we need to focus on. And Kristi and I have talked about that. We're going to be relaunching the website. We still have the website. We're still going to be on Paraflixx, but I think there's going to be some other things coming up. And Kristi is still going to be working with Ghost Hunt Weekends, but there's going to be a lot of things coming, and I'm going to be busy on the tech side, and Kristi's going to be busy on the booking side of getting people to do this.
See, I have the easy part. Yeah, seriously, I mean, it does get a little bit frustrating sometimes, dealing with getting everything put together. But I got to give David kudos, because when it comes to computers, I literally I suck. I mean, I'm horrible. I mean, not but 20 minutes before us coming on, my computer, I was getting no sound, and I'm yelling, I've got no sound. I'm freaking out, and I'm calling David like back to back, freaking out. And, I had to have somebody come in. So when it comes to the website and our show, he's the mastermind behind doing all that. I just sit and act goofy.
Oh, and look beautiful and everything. Yeah. We got merchandise that'll be coming out. We have some things left over from 2022 that will be on the website also. But within the next couple of weeks, Kristi and I'll be looking at getting some new stuff up there. So new for 2023. And just, a whole lot of things that are just going to be going on, of more TikTok,
and who knows?
Yeah, who knows what else is going on. So it's going to be a really great year of just looking at, I think the first thing we were looking at is the East Tennessee Paracon.
Yes.
And that's in April, right, Kristi?
Correct.
Yeah, so we're looking at something like that. But I know we've been invited to St. Albans, invited back to St. Albans coming up, and I think it might be a two-day investigation in St. Albans. So we'll be there for the weekend. We won't be there for one day.
As long as it's not cold.
No, I think it's going to be springtime. So
okay, good.
But if it's cold, there's a hotel right across the road. So when we're done investigating, we'll just go back over there and let everybody else sleep in there, and then just come back the next day.
There you go.
Right. David, I'm going to let you wrap it up. I'm so sorry, Damon, but I've got to wrap it up and get out of here. Is there any last questions you'd like to ask me?
No, ma'am. Just I appreciate you again for coming on, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Definitely. And I apologize again for leaving early, but kid duty, the mom thing, so and thank you so much. And David, thank you for wrapping it up for me. And my spiel.
I got you. I'll go. I'll make sure everybody knows where to find you.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank y'all so much.
Wait.
Yeah.
If I can leave, hit the button. Of course, it's not letting me leave. Okay, there we go. Okay, bye.
Hi, Kristi. Oh, she's so incredible. She's an incredible person to work with. Yeah, so there's just going to be a lot of really good things going on. I think a lot of more investigating. So it's really weird, Damon, how when you put in a lot of hard work into something, it really starts to pay off.
Right.
And we've got a great reputation. We're pretty good investigators, we're pretty good interviewers, and it just really opened up a lot of doors for us, which I can't thank everybody enough for the support that they've given us.
Right. And like I said, it's just awesome to kind of see you guys, how you've grown in the 2 years we've known each other. So
Sure.
I did want to touch on something real quick. I did have a good friend of your guys on a few weeks ago, and we kind of name dropped you guys, Mr. Bobby J. Gallo. And
Robert.
Yeah. He had told me how you guys met, and y'all met at a Paracon, and how all these people were coming up to their table, and now we're just kind of wondering who the hell this guy was. And yeah. So Bobby J is a good dude. I really enjoyed talking to him.
Renee and him are really at the forefront. They don't get a lot of credit for what they've done in the field of, they get the question all the time, is it dangerous to have your family or little children investigate and things like that? You can go either way on that. He gives a great answer. But Bobby is just a great overall guy of just the things that he and his family have done, and really to be forefront people on YouTube, and then going, I forget the other platform he's on, and especially what he's doing now, investigating and writing his 2 books, and it's, when quick little humble brag here, we're in the 2nd book too, so
Oh yeah.
yeah so
Well, there you go.
But yeah, he's a great guy, and I can't say enough about him and about what Renee himself and his kids do. And if you ever get the chance to see some of his stuff, when we interviewed him, I had some videos that he had on there, and he just went up to this one cemetery that's in the middle of nowhere. There's no electricity around anywhere, and the Paranormal Pro, I forget what he had, but as soon as he went to the gate, just started going off, and it was crazy. And
Right.
then there was the video that showed the apparition just coming into life, which was absolutely incredible. You can clearly see a collar and a cuff, and an arm, torso, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's really groundbreaking, and plus he's a pro magician too. So
Right.
it's just awesome. He's just
Yes.
he's an overall great guy. And yeah,
Yep.
we met at the Warren Con last was it December? I think it was.
Mhm.
I forget. Everything runs in together, like we keep saying. So yeah, and had a couple great dinners and some great conversations with a lot of great people. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So relaunching the website soon. So what other kind of social media can people find you on if they want to kind of follow along with you guys?
yeah, you can find us anything from Twitter to TikTok. Obviously, we have a great Facebook group page that you can go to, where we really like to interact with our fans the most. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, everything is under Our Haunted Lives. So it's just easy to do that. And then you'll see the logo of where it says Our Haunted Lives. We both have personal pages of, David Taylor, you can find me on Facebook, or Kristi Grissom.
Right.
But with that, you can still go to the website. It is up. We just don't have any merchandise and stuff like that. You can just kind of look around, and that's at ourhauntedlives.com. You can do that. And what other social media stuff are we doing? I think that's kind of it right now.
Right.
There'll be some things that we'll talk about pretty soon here,
Right.
that Kristi and I are working on, and we will announce them probably in December, this coming up December, and stuff like that. So like I said, we'll have the merchandise. If you need to contact us about an investigation or being on the show or anything like that, you can contact Kristi at Kristi Paranormal at gmail.com, or you can contact myself at ohldavidtaylor@gmail.com. Kristi is on Twitter and Instagram. She goes by Kristi Paranormal on Instagram. I think same thing with TikTok. Facebook, it's Kristi Grissom and stuff like that. So you can find us at that. So yeah, that's what we do with that. TikTok, we're kind of getting into it. We had a really good conversation with somebody this past weekend about how you really kind of dive into it and get into the algorithms. And it's just,
Right.
I don't know. I think I'm too old for TikTok. So we'll find out.
You never know.
Yeah, true.
So I want to kind of wrap this up with
Sure.
somebody wants to be an investigator, and they reached out to you and said, give me your best advice on how to become an investigator and what I need to do. What would you tell them?
Well, first off, I'd probably tell them to go to an investigation that has a lot of people at it first. It's a really big commitment to really kind of delve in to it right away. You're blasted with, oh, you need this piece of equipment, you need that, and there's many ones that you can go to. The ones we work with, obviously you've been to a ghost hunt weekend, and that's what Kristi works with. You can network with a lot of people there, and it could be, because I really like to tell people, don't go investigating by yourself. You don't know what's going to be there, and especially if you go to an abandoned place, you don't know if there's going to be homeless people or squatters in there, and it can be very unsafe. So just be careful. But if you want to delve right in. I mean, there's many things you can do. You can watch videos, you can watch the ghost shows, which will give you kind of a basis of what to do. But just be careful. There are a lot of things out there that you don't know about. We're privy to be a lot of friends that know a lot of things about a lot of things that I don't know about. So if there's something that I encounter when I'm investigating, if it's above my pay grade, and I hope everybody understands what that means, I'm backing off, okay, and I'm making a phone call. And
Right.
same thing Kristi did when we were at Hinsdale. She backed off and she made a phone call to somebody about what was happening. So, and just trust your gut, man. Your best piece of equipment is yourself.
Right.
If you're trying something that nobody has done before, make sure you document it, even if it doesn't work. Document the results, take the temperature, see what your EMF readings are, and that's before you try your experiment, during your experiment, and then after, because then you start having a theory, and then you can go to people and say, hey, these are the findings that I've gotten.
Right.
Record it on camera. Don't go out and buy a $5,000 camera at first. Just record on your phone.
Yeah.
You can get a $20 stand that'll put your phone up there, and you can just take it around with you. You can get some cat balls, get some dowsing rods, learn on YouTube of how to do certain things, and start tapping into what you really feel. And always protect yourself, whether it be with your gods, whatever you do. Make sure you have protection, and make sure you ground yourself. And grounding isn't like going and chanting to the gods. Grounding is just putting your hand on a branch or a tree or a piece of wood of something that is made from the earth or something, and just saying, you know what, just please center myself, center, because there's a lot of times you can get freaked out. But do that before you go in, and you should be okay. And have a good attitude. If you have a good attitude, you're going to have a great investigation.
Right.
If you have a bad attitude, you're going to bring everything out of that, and it's going to be a bad investigation. That's my theory on it, because ghosts can get grumpy too. And if you're being a jerk, they're going to be a jerk right back.
Right.
So yeah.
That's definitely solid advice, and I would recommend anybody that's listening to this to listen to that advice, because like I said, you've accomplished a lot in just a couple of years, and living by those guidelines has really gotten you guys pretty far. And I think it's awesome, all the work you guys are putting in for not only yourselves, but for the field in general. And like I said, again, I want to congratulate you guys on all your success, and I wish you much more success in the future. Well, David, I want to go ahead and wrap this up, man.
Okay.
I want to thank you again, and pass along my thanks to Kristi whenever you talk to her again.
For sure.
Like I said, I've been wanting to get you guys on, and I was glad I got you on season one, because I'm wrapping up season one here.
Awesome.
I think I have about 3-4 more episodes left, and I'm gonna take a break through December and then pick up in January. So
good.
But anyway, thank you again, everybody. Go check out All Haunted Lives on Paraflixx. Look them up on all their social media. Follow along on David and Kristi's journey. I think you guys will be really impressed with some of the stuff they've been doing. So again, thank you, David.
Thank you, Damon. And we will see you down the road. I'll give
yes,
you
sir.
Thing.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you.